Hello friends, welcome to Squared Plans. I'm Stephanie and today we're going to be setting up our faith planners in bullet journal style for the month of November. And I've got these Micron pens here ready to go, as well as this Sakura Jelly Roll pen in white. I also have this leaf punch that I'll be using for the decor and creating a stencil. I have this empty black washi tape that I've been using all year long. These are Teza Twine markers that I'll be using for some color, and this Fudenosuke brush pen that I'll use on the cover for some brush lettering. So I've already penciled in the majority of the design, and I'll start off here with the verse of the month on the cover sheet. I'll just use my 03 sized Pigma Micron for the lettering, and then for any of the handwriting or cursive lettering, I will add my Fudenosuke brush pen for that. So this month's verse is Psalm 69:30, and it's related to Thanksgiving, so I thought that would be good for the month in this theme, which is going to be sort of a fall-like theme with falling leaves. So what I did is I punched out some heavier cardstock with my leaf punch, and then I used that as a stencil to draw in these leaves in and around as decor. That was the easiest way I could think of to do it without having to hand draw each one of these individually. Stencil worked out really nicely, and I just kind of peppered it in where it felt sort of random, and then now I'm using the colors available here that I've pulled for the month in a random pattern too, so that there's a little bit of each color spread around. So for the moment I'm just going to outline them, but I will come back a little bit later and decide to fill them in. This design could work as is with just the outlined, but I just wanted a little bit more color, and I kind of realized that later down the road. I'm just going to go ahead and finish these up. So I put down my black washi and did my white opaque pen for the header of November, and I've been doing that technique throughout the year, so all of the themes I've done in this bullet journal planner will tie together with those same washi tape headers throughout the year, even though each one has its own individual theme. So now we're going to move on to the back, and for this one I got kind of, I don't know, I would say creative, but I don't know about this idea I had. So I used the stencil that I had made and then projected some light through it and pulled it away from the page to make it larger. So very much like a projection style thing, and use that to draw in these larger leaves. They look, I don't know, that too detailed to me, I think, in the end, but you can kind of see what I was going for here with large leaves kind of layered on each other. This is going to be my prayer list. I'm going to put in my 4 main categories, which I do every month. I have my friends, my family, I have people outside of my normal sphere of influence, and then I have a little section for myself. That has served me perfectly. It's like planner piece there for me as far as my prayer list, so I continue to do that throughout the year. And I was going to leave them just as they were, but then I changed my mind and decided to do this black outline with them as well. And I don't know if that made it better or worse or what, but out of all the pages I do, this is probably the funkiest one that I decided to do, but that's okay. I just wanted to have a little bit of variation because I'm going to be using those smaller leaves throughout, so I just thought it would be nice to have a little bit of something different here on this page that was tied in but wasn't exactly like all of the other pages. And there'll be a lot of furious erasing, so just bear with me on that. And here we will put in the title, again using that black washi tape and the white opaque pen. And as that's drying, I'll go ahead and move on to the next page, which is going to be a gratitude list for the month. For this spread, what I decided to do was to give myself 2 lines of space in columns instead of doing it across the page. I've been doing that more recently where I just do 1 line all the way across, but it gets a little bit messy looking. So I think I'm going to try this one for the month and see how it comes out. I'm denoting which day, like the little section for the day with those little black lines. And then I'll also go in and number those as well here shortly. And then I've shifted down the second column to give me a little bit more room for decor and for the header. And so I'm going to be drawing in the leaves again with the mix of colors and just kind of laying them in where they fit. Sometimes when I'm working, I'm like, what do I want to do next? And I kind of do little weird jerky movements. That's me kind of figuring things out. So saw that on camera. It was kind of funny. So here I'll write in the title for the page, which will be Daily Gratitude. And then do some trimming on the opposite page now that it's dry. And then I will kind of erase the pencil marks since I'm going to be using the lighter colors here, and then just write in the numbered days. I decided to do all 4 colors, so I did 8 days and then 7 days, and then I think on the next one I did the same thing, so it's 8 days in one color and then 7 on the bottom. And I thought gratitude was perfect for, Thanksgiving month, so just went ahead and decided on that. And now we're on to the first spread of the month. And I decided to keep it super simple just because there's a lot of delicate, intricate leaf drawing in this video. So I thought I would just do the first week super simple, almost like a simple quad layout for my daily verse of the day, and then draw in some decor here at the top. Again, more of the leaves. I think this is the page where I decided to add in some color. And I'm going to contain them within this 1 day box, which is going to be just the starting box for the week. And then it will go into Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, which I realize now after I'm done filming that I didn't label, but I'll figure out a way to label each of the box days as I go through the week. I only set up the very first week for the month so that I can try other layouts as the month goes by, and I'm not locked into a certain style. That's been pretty good for the most part throughout the year. It gives me a chance to try new things. So like I said, here's where I decide to add in a bit more color. I think it was this leaf in particular because I think I drew it a little bit funky and was trying to fix it with the color. But I like the added splash of fun and the pop of that color. I'm not going to color in all the leaves, just a few, so there'll be a mix on each page of colored in and outlined leaves. I also tried different coloring techniques. One of the things I really like about these twine markers is that there's like a brush tip for a little bit more larger swaths of color, but then there's also the fine tip that you can really use to get intricate. Like I said, I'm going to go back on the other pages and color in a few of the leaves on those pages as well. But I use these twine markers for my lettering. I think they're perfect for lettering use because they have those two types of tips. I will say the brush tip is not great for doing brush lettering per se. You really won't be able to control it that well, and it frays like the brushes, depending on the pen though. Sometimes the brush tips are pretty good and sometimes they're a little bit more soft and frayy, if you know what I mean. So I wouldn't recommend them necessarily for brush lettering, but I would recommend them for just doing basic lettering, you know, print lettering, especially that fine tip, and then you get a bunch of different colors. So if you are looking for a pretty budget-friendly option for doing lettering and want to just play around with different colors and styles, these are some good pens to get started with. I've been using my set for the last 2 or 3 years, and they're still going strong. You can kind of see how I'm using the mix of the brush and the fine tip pens to really help color these in and do a good job of getting into the edges and the corners of the leaf. The orange has got a really soft brush tip on it right now, so that one I'm always kind of fighting to get a good coloring in on with. But the other ones are still pretty solid and firm, so I can get away with using just those on some of the leaves. Okay, so we're on to the back now. This last page is where I track my daily Bible reading verses. So I use an app called YouVersion Bible app on my phone to basically do all of my morning faith routine. They have different plans that you can use for reading the Bible or even devotionals, things like that. So I do a Bible in a year plan every year, and that's what I track here on this page, which verses I read each day. I don't know if you caught that, but I added in one more color here to the lineup. I added in almost like a yellow-green tone to help me do all 5 weeks in a graduated color scheme. I only added that color in for this page. I didn't want the colors to get overwhelming, so just this page has that little bit of yellow. I'm going to be adding in the brown here at the bottom to finish things out once I figured out how many days I needed down there. I'll also draw in a few more of those decor leaves here at the top. Again, just kind of picking and choosing which colors I'm using and where. I also have already pinned in the Sunday, Monday, Tuesday day headers there on the top. I had forgotten to do that last month, and so I ended up adding them in once I started using the spread, but I didn't do it on camera last month. So if you want to see how it all turned out, do check out my monthly flip throughs. That's where I will showcase basically the final spreads after the pen with all of the verses written in and all that good stuff, so you can really see how I'm using the spreads. So I went ahead and erased all the pencil lines, and then I'm going to add in some black washi tape here and write in the header what I read this month. I'll let that dry before I trim it. And now I'll figure out which ones I want to color in and do that last bit of the work. I really can't get enough of the fall spreads, so it was fun. I mean, November is probably going to wrap things up. I'm going to be sad to see all these lovely fall spreads and fall stickers go to the wayside, but I try to get the most out of this seasonal time now with spreads and stuff. It's really not fall-like where I live. We don't really get a fall, but I like to enjoy the idea of it as much as I can in my planner. And that is going to do it for us, folks. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up down below. Also, too, go ahead and leave me a comment if you'd like to get in touch. And think about subscribing to my channel if you haven't already, if you'd like to see more of my videos. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it. And we will see you next time. Bye!